Well, we are back in the Daybreak Kitchen at the Blennerhassett Hotel with Chef Jared. Well, thank you for having us back again. And
absolutely, always a pleasure.
We're going to be making something really delicious today, kind of in separate parts over the coming weeks.
So we're going to do a little three-part series here. So it'll all culminate in one delicious meal. So we're going to do it stage by stage here. So first, we're going to do some classic, simple meatballs.
I'm looking forward to this.
This is not exactly my grandmother's recipe, but it's pretty well based on it. So it's got all the major components we want. So we're going to start with some 80-20 ground beef.
So 80%
80% lean, 80%, 20% fat.
Okay.
Yep.
Now,
so,
can you use any other variations of
you
that
could,
80,
but I find that this is the best ratio because you're going to have just the right amount of fat to keep things nice and moist through the cooking process. And then if you go too lean, sometimes you can have dry, crumbly meatballs.
Okay.
And they won't hold up very well to the oven.
And then can we substitute anything else, maybe like sausage?
Absolutely.
Or
ground pork is a great option. Lamb, veal.
Turkey?
Turkey.
Ground turkey?
Yeah, absolutely. Turkey for a healthier option would be great. So we'll start with our little binder here.
Okay.
So we got 2 whole eggs going in. And for flavor, we got some
chopped onion.
That's 1 whole onion. And then 1 small bell pepper going in. And then, of course, the garlic. You know, you can have meatballs without garlic. So that's 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic.
And then, obviously, if you don't have a bell pepper or onion, you can swap that out.
Right. And so there's a couple different options for bringing this all together. So I like to get everything incorporated. And then when we move to a bigger bowl, we're going to add in our breadcrumb and our seasonings. And that's going to give us plenty of room to move around.
Lots and lots of room.
Absolutely. So we got 1 cup of breadcrumbs of your choice. They could be Italian, they could be day-old, homemade bread, whatever you'd like. So go ahead and we're going to gently bring those together because what we don't want to do is overwork our mixture because that'll lead to a dense meatball that's kind of hard to chew. You
don't want that.
Yeah, you want them to be fork tender. So we're mixing.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, and when they're almost done, we're going to go in with our seasonings. We got 2 tablespoons of dried Italian seasoning. So that's just basil, oregano, and thyme mixed together. Your standard mix you get at the grocery store. And then salt and pepper. So 1 tablespoon kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of black pepper. And again, we just want to go real slow, bringing everything together. And we want one smooth, homogeneous mixture. So everything fully incorporated, no streaks of egg, yolk, or white. No big patches of salt or pepper.
Want to make sure the bell peppers are evenly spread out.
Exactly.
Same with the onions, have them all mixed in.
So that's exactly what we're looking for. Nothing loose, nothing falling out. Everything coming together. So you and I are going to get in here.
And then we're going to start.
Absolutely. We're going to use our intuition to form 3.5 to 4 ounce balls. And that's going to give us a nice, classic spaghetti and meatballs, an impressive size meatball. So,
let's see if I can get a think that.
So you don't have to overthink it. You just kind of go with your gut. And we're going to slowly bring them together. And we don't want to compress too much.
Okay. So just a light,
that's what we're looking for. Exactly. And I mean, this shouldn't be like a quick process. You kind of just come along, make sure they're nice and round. And then we're going to go right down onto our parchment lined baking sheet. That's a good one.
I think that's a good one right there. Try not to go too big.
Right. We will have some shrinkage when it comes to the oven, so that's why we're going to do the 3.5 to 4 ounce size. That way, there's whenever they come out, they're not all like disappointing. But yeah, we're gonna finish these up, and then we'll pop them in the oven.
Yeah. So, what temperature should the oven be before we pop?
So we're going to do 350 degrees, and then you're going to use a probe thermometer to make sure they are at least 155, and they'll carry over to 165. And that's going to be your finishing temperature.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to make some meatballs, get them in the oven, and then after the break, we're going to do a taste test. More on Daybreak right after the break. Well, we're back here in the Daybreak Kitchen at the Blender Haza Hotel. We let the meatballs cook for a little bit, Chef Jared, and now it's time to pull them out. Now, just to recap.
We did about 10 minutes to 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees. They came right out, so we used our probe thermometer. They temped right at 165 degrees.
Okay, sounds good. Go. So they're in the oven right now.
Yep.
I think it's time to taste test them.
They're very warm. So these are the ones you made, Henry.
Oh boy.
They turned out great. Not too much shrinkage. Nice shape. You can see our beautiful garnish in there with the peppers and onions.
You can see the onions, the peppers. It looks very colorful as well with the green from the pepper. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a cut.
Perfectly done on the inside.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Really like that sweet flavor from the onions, and then the juiciness of the meatballs. They are not dry at all.
Yep, that's that perfect fat to lean ratio. That's what will get you every time.
Yeah, that's why we went with the 80%, 20%.
Yep.
So remind me on that. It's 80%.
80% lean meat and then 20% fat.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, really good. Makes me want to go for a second bite right
here. Yeah, I mean, these are great for, a pasta dish like we're going to do next week, or, a meatball sub. I mean, you just slap some sauce and some provolone cheese down, and that's an easy weeknight meal. These are actually, they keep really well in the freezer, and that's how we're going to go ahead and just use these same exact meatballs to finish dinner next week.
Yeah, so next week we're going to be making the tomato sauce, which, like you said, would be great for a meatball sub, but it's going to come to an end eventually with the pasta. So we'll have more on that next week. But Chef Jared, thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
And we'll have more on Daybreak right after the break.